Welcome to the Fit Body Challenge, 15 days to clean eating, getting fit, and feeling confident in your body. I'm your host, Crystal Jackson, and today we have a very special guest and amazing friend of mine, Dr. Kellee Rutley. She is a feminine fat loss specialist and a doctor of chiropractic in California. Dr. Kellee works with women who are ready to finally release the extra weight that's been holding them back from having the health and life they truly desire. She is a former professional fitness trainer and competitive gymnast and distance runner. Dr. Kellee has been successfully helping women to release resistant body fat and create real and lasting health and true fitness for over 20 years. Dr. Kellee has committed her professional life to standing in the fire with women from all over the world, helping them to finally release all the weight that they want to and keep it off forever. She believes that this is true freedom for women. Dr. Kellee works with women online and in person in her private and group coaching programs. She stands for inspiration over deprivation, and she is currently working on her upcoming online event called the Feminine Fat Loss Masterclass. Get ready for a powerful and fun interview where we dive deep into why we are carrying the extra weight for protection and how to finally release the weight. All right, guys, I'll see you on the inside. Welcome everybody to the Fit Body Challenge, and today I have a very special guest and one of my really, really good friends, Dr. Kellee Rutley. Kellee, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Crystal. I'm so excited to do this with you.
Oh, Kellee and I have been friends for about a year and a half now and have had a couple major, hard, challenging moments together physically, which has made us really, really close, and we'll maybe get into that, maybe not, but
I would love to.
But Kellee, share with us a little bit about you and why are you here today? Why are you a stand for women, losing weight and just having the body that they really want to have?
Okay, thank you. Thanks for asking. I'm absolutely committed to helping women not just release all of the weight they want to and keep it off for life so that they can move on and live their life to the fullest, but I'm committed to women taking their health back. So for a lot of the women that I work with, we get to a place in life where they've been carrying maybe an extra 30 pounds, which can turn into 40, and then 50 and beyond. And often clients come to me when they get to that place in life where they're like, if I don't do something about this, my next doctor's visit is going to be one where they tell me I've got type 2 diabetes, or they're experiencing health problems and they know it's weight related, but they've been putting it off. So that's how I take a stand for women. And not to mention the fact that when any of us are carrying extra weight, Crystal, you and I have talked about this before, it doesn't matter if you're carrying an extra 10 pounds, 20 pounds, 30 or 100. It's how that weight affects you and impacts you negatively is the thing that I want to help women remove, because it's amazing when you feel really good in your body at whatever weight you are, whatever size you are. The things that open up for you and the things you're able to do and the person you're able to be completely changes.
I 100% agree. And I've seen it over and over with people where it's, a lot of the experiences I've seen actually with younger kids in our gym where they maybe wore baggy pants when they first started working out with us. And then I would see them transition as they got more confident, as they worked out more, and they started wearing cute little spandex, but it's true for an adult as well. And I will say I used to wear, there's 2 years in my life I did not wear shorts because what I believed up here was that my legs were fat and my legs were big. And I took myself out of a lot of opportunities like you're talking about. I missed out on a lot of opportunities because I had those beliefs.
Yeah.
I did not wear shorts. That just sounds ridiculous when I say that now.
Yeah, but it doesn't. And it's interesting too, because I don't think I remember when you shared that with me when we were in Connecticut, and nobody would know that about you. People would look at you and go, are you kidding me? You wouldn't wear shorts? I've seen your legs, by the way. They're amazing and strong, right? They're strong. They're not, we're not in the whole camp of go for the thigh gap look, it's we're fit women and you're going to have some leg muscle, which is awesome. But people, women, I think often look at each other and we think, oh, she can't feel insecure about her body. Look at how great she looks. However, when it's I don't think any woman, I have a 17-year-old daughter who has a lot of girlfriends. I hear the conversations they have. nobody escapes the body image conversation.
Mhm.
Nobody escapes any of that. So that's why I try to focus on the health benefits and look at the weight loss as a side effect, which it really is.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we have had some amazing experience. We did can I share about our
Yeah,
half
go
marathon?
for it. I love this.
So, so I decided to do a half marathon and posted it on Facebook and didn't even really look at what it was, but it was called the Billy Goat Half Marathon, right? So you can imagine Billy Goat's going to imply that there could be hills, right? There might
Wait,
be.
I did not even know what I was signing up for.
And like within 5 minutes, Crystal says, I'm in, and buys her ticket too. So now we're doing this half marathon together. And both of us we have similar personalities. Neither of us really knew what we were doing.
Nope.
And we ended up running this half marathon. It was like 6.5 miles straight up a fire road in 90-degree heat with no trees, no coverage, no nothing. And then back down that very same hill. And it was such an awesome experience for me running it with you because I got to see your coaching style and I got to experience what it like to be coached by you. And it was phenomenal because I mean there were moments, Crystal, you remember towards the end when it was smoking hot and it was like you feel like all you're going to do is either throw up or pass out.
Mm-hmm.
But you know the finish line is there and Crystal was running in ahead of me and you kept turning and going, what do you need? What do you need? What do you need? And you said, Dr. Kelly has no quit in her. I was like, yeah. But that was awesome. That's one of my all-time favorite finisher medals because it was one of the hardest finishes.
It was one of the most challenging things. And, you know, I love hearing your story. And from my side, what I loved was I didn't really know you. I
Yeah.
said yes to going and I was like, oh, cool. This girl Kelly and I get to hang out for a couple, I don't know, like a little bit of time, couple hours. And it
Yeah.
was a very long experience. It's like a 4-hour experience, you know? And I had a party that day with my in-laws, like a family reunion. I was like, oh, I'll be back by this time. Like, but what I love and what I love teaching people, and I know you do too, in your practice is like, we talked about like, what are we releasing and letting go of on the hill? And I remember we got to the top of the hill and we're both crying, talking about these experiences that were like, you know what, F that does not need to be part of our life anymore. And how do you correlate that into the weight that we can hold on to? Because I would love to hear you share with that.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up because you just asked like the golden question because it's everything, right? And I distinctly remember having that conversation with you right now, and that's really what we as women need to talk about, whether it's in terms of well, I'll just talk in my realm, okay, for weight release. So, and I call it weight release because this stuff I'm going to show you guys, I'm going to shock you a little bit, right? This is a pound of body fat. This isn't real fat. This is a plastic model. That's just a pound. This is 5. So look at the volume of this. So if this is 5 pounds of fat, this is a tape measure. Like look at this would be like maybe 5 pounds of muscle would be this size, right? So look at the amount of volume and mass that carries. The thing about this is it's not just some kind of yellow stuff that hangs on our bodies. Not only does it produce hormones and it produces inflammatory products. So from a physical health standpoint, it's unhealthy to carry this, especially for women. But there's an energy to this body fat. So this is a very dense material. So one of the questions I ask women is, what do you need to release? What do you need to let go of to have the life you want? Because honestly, okay, so I'm going to geek out for just a second. So if anyone understands physical therapy, like have you heard of bioelectrical impedance or anything where you use like a physical therapy modality where you use like electricity? Like anyone who's in physical therapy is going to know where I'm going with this, right? So this dense material, it doesn't conduct electricity, right? Muscle does, fat does, like electricity travels like lightning speed through water and like lightning speed through muscle and bone. But when it hits this dense body fat, it slows down. So the energy of this fat is very low. So why are we tired when we've got, you gain 10 pounds? It's not just that this is heavy, but it's the density of it. It's like, why are we tired?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So then let's talk about something, go a step further. So this creates like a protective layer, right? Which a lot of women will they know that already about themselves. They'll say, I know that I carry this extra weight for protection.
Yeah.
But they don't necessarily know why. The reason energetically this body fat is very effective at being a layer of protection is because if energy coming in slows down, right, goes fast through water, fast through muscle, if it slows down as it goes through body fat, energetically we're protected. That's why a lot of women carry fat around their lower abdomen and their thighs. Like, think about that whole area of a woman's body.
For sure.
Okay. So at the same time, though, because we're energetic beings, this was so not where I was going. Aren't we talking about keto?
We're supposed to be talking
Where am I going?
This is what I love because this is real life. This is just coming up.
This is just where we're going. Okay.
Yeah.
So we are energetic beings. So if the body fat serves as a protective layer for energy, unwanted energy coming in, the problem with that, though, is it's also slowing down your energy that's coming out of you.
Yeah.
So you don't shine as bright. And I really think that actually has more to do with why women feel like when they gain weight, they're not noticed. It's like, oh, I gained 40 pounds and I can walk through a grocery store and nobody stares at me. Men don't look at me. I don't think it's because the extra weight is not attractive. I think it's because energetically we don't exude the light, which is attractive. Like when you are an energetic being that's not blocked up, right? You're attractive to people. So that's the releasing story. So like, what do you need to release and what do you need to let go to bring in more? And sometimes the thing about that is that can be a very scary question for people.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's easier to keep the weight on than it is to really look at that and ask, okay, what's next? And do I have the courage for what's next?
It's like the fear of success and fear of failure,
mm-hmm.
right? Like, what if I did have the body that I truly wanted and I would, what success would it bring me? And I'm scared of that. I mean, I can say there's been times in my life, fear of success for sure,
mm-hmm.
but it's almost, why wouldn't you give yourself the opportunity, and not have that energy blocking you with the fat in your body?
That's a really good question, but there's also a really good answer to that, because it's easy to make a judgment about that. And so we want to be careful that we don't do that to ourselves. Like what's wrong with me? Why won't I let myself release the weight? There's a fantastic book. I'm actually going to grab it. It's underneath my laptop. So everything's going to look very different in like a second.
I have my laptop on Tools of Titans. So
okay.
Great book if you guys haven't read it. It's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so here's one I'm going to recommend. This is actually why, right? Like, so for some women, it's dangerous to lose weight. So this is a book that I love. It's called The Body Keeps the Score.
Awesome.
So I know you're all about giving resources. It's called The Body Keeps the Score, Brain, Mind, and Body in the Healing of Trauma by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk, MD. This book explains why we stop ourselves from having that. Because for some people, it's like, well, why wouldn't you let yourself just release the weight? It's like, well, if releasing the weight is triggering old trauma, it's dangerous to lose weight, right? So a lot of my clients experience that.
Gosh. Thank you for sharing all that. That was definitely not the way we were supposed to go, but I'm really grateful you said that. And it, I really believe that, well, number one, if the woman is feeling like no one looks at her while she's walking through because she's 40 pounds overweight, what we believe is what we actually see. She might not even notice the person that's looking at her because she has that belief system,
True, the filter.
Yeah. So I'm all about like, what are the beliefs that we are holding us back in our life of, oh, I can't do that because I am 40 pounds overweight or whatever the situation is. Not saying it's true for everyone, because there are beautiful souls out there doing their mission, their life's purpose, and rocking out their body at 200 pounds or more.
Yeah.
but they own it. At least they show
Mm-hmm.
us that they own it. Who knows what's going on. But I can say we have an athlete that I've worked with that when you're talking about a little bit earlier about, you looked at my body and why would I ever have these, crazy thoughts? I mean, I've had hundreds of athletes walk through our gym and perfect bodies, and they still would come to me. And what I see as perfect bodies still come to me and go and like crying in my office.
Yeah.
But my friends,
It just gives me chills. I know.
yeah, but my friends, their legs are so skinny. I'm like, oh my gosh, but your strong legs get you to jump high, and you have a full ride scholarship, or setting them up for success in life later on. But it's a delicacy. I mean, I was in college and had a borderline eating disorder.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started lose. Here's the trick that I would love for you to touch on, because then I started to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
I was getting leaner. Then I'm getting all this positive feedback. So guess what I started to do?
Get even
Going a
more
little deeper. So what do you do with people with that? Because that's definitely a tricky boundary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's not the most common scenario for the women that I work with, because women that I work with usually have a significant amount of weight to release. They're usually in their 40s, 50s, perimenopausal, menopausal. And so only once or twice have I actually had a client who took weight loss to the extreme. And the reason that can happen, though, is because the weight release protocols that I use are really effective. So I'm very careful at screening clients. Really, I'm not kidding. I mean, I was a gymnast, and you and I have shared this before. Like, I mean, when I was in 7th grade, I was getting weighed by my gymnastics teacher. So yeah, dieting started really young for me. So I understand the mindset of that. And so I'm very careful. Really, like, I don't work with women who I feel might use the protocols in the plan and over diet. And especially because what can happen, this, Crystal, you probably got really tired, you start losing muscle mass, and you're no longer using body fat for fuel, you're using your own muscle tissue, and it's dangerous, and you don't feel good, and nobody wants that.
No.
So what was your question again?
No, that was perfect. It's a delicate line to be on, but I do want to shift gears and go into keto, because I know you're huge. You and my husband like nerded out on keto, which is so cute.
Yeah.
But tell everybody, what is keto? Because there's so many fads out there right now, and keto is definitely a big one.
I know. It's like a double-edged sword out there, you guys. And for those of us who have been teaching this for many, many years, I've been coaching it, for 20 years, really, in different shapes and forms. The word ketosis and ketogenic is like so not new to us, but it's new to the public. And with that, there is some great information out there and some great people who are very credible coaching and teaching it. And then there's some stuff out there that's just, for lack of a better word, crap. And so unfortunately for the consumer, you guys are forced to sift through what's good and what's crap. And how are you going to know? Like, unless you have a background in physiology and nutrition and in health, how would you know what's good? It's kind of like working out in the gym. How would somebody who is totally unfamiliar with working out and training know a good trainer or a good fitness plan from a crappy one?
Yeah.
So, so I've been coaching, and let's just be real about what is ketosis, first of all. It's a physiological state of fat burning. It is not dangerous. That people get the word ketosis confused with ketoacidosis, which is a dangerous physiological state for a type 1 diabetic. Normal people who don't have diabetes are not at risk for going into ketoacidosis. So that's where I want to just bust the myth that ketosis is dangerous. Ketoacidosis is dangerous, but ketosis is just a physiological state of fat burning, and it does not inherently mean no carb, high fat. Biggest myth going on out there right now is that, oh, if you're doing keto, which is another thing too, is like keto. It's kind of funny because what does that really mean? That you're not eating any carbs and you're eating a ton of fat. And, I have I have clients who will come to me because they just gained 20 pounds on keto. And I look at what they've been eating and I'm like, oh my God, girlfriend, do you know how many calories are in that much fat? I mean, it's one thing if you're out there doing Brazilian jiu-jitsu and you're running, obviously endurance training is not even great for fat burning, but that's another interview.
Yeah.
But, so I want to give you guys, can I give a tool like now?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So, because this is what I have my clients do before I give them any recommendations. So I won't give any recommendations on this interview because it's very highly individualized.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be 50 books on how to lose weight with keto out there on the market, right?
Yeah.
If there was like a one size fits all magic bullet, it doesn't exist. But the best thing that you could do right now, which is what I have all of my clients do for 7 days to 10 days before I ever tell them anything, give them anything to do, track your food. Write down, this is the best way to create awareness about what you eat, how much you eat, when you eat. Also, by the way, this helps you look at how you eat and know, like, am I eating for fuel purposes and energy, or am I more emotionally eating?
Yeah. And
am I emotionally eating at night, or, what's triggering all that? So tracking your food and your moods, called the food mood journal. Mm-hmm. Track your food, track your mood, track your food, track your mood. Do that for 7 days. And sometimes you'll have like the biggest aha ever. And sometimes people will be able to look at that and they can then tell what's actually going on. Mm-hmm. So sometimes, you can't go anywhere until you know where you are.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, in that sheet, do you want them like on a MyFitnessPal or just on a piece of paper, or do you have one that we could even put in there?
I don't have one. I have all of my clients use MyFitnessPal because it's the easiest thing for me to go in and look at, and they can share their diary and I can see it. And you know what? Let me tell you what I don't even look at. Well, first I look to see if they're even tracking. Yeah. Right. And all of my clients who are releasing weight right now are tracking. The ones who are not releasing weight aren't tracking. I'll see like, hasn't tracked in 12 days. And I'm like, I don't know where you are. You're in Spain. I'm in California. Yeah. You're off the streets. And we've all done it. So it's like, again, no judgment. It's like, this is just like how we are in every area of life sometimes. So using MyFitnessPal, the things I never look at are calories and fat percent. Which is interesting because those are usually the two questions people will ask me is how many calories should I be eating and what percent of fat should I be having? And those are actually the two things that solve themselves when you actually find out what your individual carbohydrate threshold is for ketosis, which is physiological state of fat burning, and what your grams of protein are, your needs to maintain your muscle mass while you're releasing fat. So one of the things that I recommend people do not do, there's so many more don't do's than there are do's, but it's really simple when you actually look at what you're going to be doing. It's like, wow, it's kind of simple. But once you know it, you own it for life. It's so empowering. I make sure clients don't start a fat loss program and a really intense fitness program at the same time. Why? Because all of a sudden your caloric needs go up when you start working out really hard. Your needs for glycogen go up if you're not fat adapted, which is a whole other process. But do you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean, right? When you start working out, or you do a half marathon like we did, and what do you want to do after?
I want ice cream.
Yeah.
I want like a triple scoop of mint chip ice cream.
Yeah. I want all the Fritos and all the Twizzlers at the aid station. Right? So what happens for so many women is they're like, I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to start working out really hard. I'm going to CrossFit. Like, that's what I did. And I remember I was so frustrated because I was like, kept stepping on the scale. I was busting my butt at CrossFit. And this was, 10 years ago. And I kept stepping on the scale, and I went to my CrossFit trainer, and I'm like, dude, I'm here to lose weight. And that is not what's happening. He's like, yeah, but Dr. Kellee, you're getting stronger. You can do this many burpees now. And I was like, but that isn't what I'm here for. Like, that's all good and great, but I actually wanted to lose fat, and I wanted to look different in my body than I looked. And so I was like getting thicker and stronger, but I wasn't releasing the fat because I was going home and I'm like, where's all the hummus in the world? And I remember asking him, like, God, what can I do? And he's like, well, we're doing this cleanse thing. And then you should add another CrossFit workout per week. So do 4 CrossFit workouts. And I was like, I can barely get through. 3 was a stretch, And so I totally stopped working out. Pretty much all I did is walk for a while, and I shifted into what I knew worked, which is forced my physiology into ketosis and just stayed there for a while.
Now, is there a point where it's too long to be in ketosis? I've heard both.
Yeah. So
like a window where you want to stay in for a certain amount of time and then give yourself a break.
Yeah, I'm going to say yes to that, because think about the human body. You talk about this all the time, Crystal. We adapt, right? That's how you can lift heavier weights, is your body will adapt to the stressor that you put on it. So if the stressor you're putting on your body is reducing your carbohydrates to such a low level and keeping it there, how does your body become more, efficient?
Mm-hmm.
You can actually train your cells to store more glycogen.
Yeah.
Over a long period of time. So there are systems that we put into place. One is carb cycling. But yes, I have my clients. I never have anybody just go into like heavy duty, hardcore ketosis forever. Like it's not sustainable. But then we start exercising once a woman has gotten to the size she wants, then she gets to get to the shape she wants.
I love that.
So I think ideally it's really good, especially with a significant amount of weight, to release, some of this first. So you're not running around with it and trying to do push-ups and burpees like I did with all this extra stuff. Like, it was humiliating, honestly. It's like running around the parking lot at CrossFit with all the extra body fat. It was humiliating for me.
And if you don't know what that feels like, put on a 5-pound or 10-pound vest and go on a run. So then you can feel what that extra 5 pounds, 10 pounds, 20 pounds, whatever it is that you want to get rid of.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to train with a weight vest on, and my coach is like, you'll never want to gain that weight because it was so much harder in the sand. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. And now let's take it a step further. And a thing about wearing a weight vest is it's solid and it's on your back. I'll tell you from experience, running around with this on your butt, jiggling, is a whole other story. And all I could think of in my yoga pants, cotton yoga pants, because that was what I was, my cotton yoga pants was like, dear God, the guy running behind me must be staring at my jiggling, shaking right now. I'm sure he wasn't, but you know what I mean? It's like, that's not empowering for a woman.
No.
So release the fat and then get fit. You're going to be leaner, you're going to be more confident. The gym can be in a very intimidating place to go.
For sure. Most people don't even want to step foot in a gym because lack of confidence, and they don't know what to do. And I get it. It is very intimidating.
So I have a question for you. Can I ask you a question?
Sure. Ask me. I love this. So
my question for you is, so if you are working with a woman who has, a significant amount of weight to release, like 50 pounds, she's not stepping into Jackson strength right now, right? Do you help women like online release the weight and then help them work into a fitness routine that they could do like at home? And then if they want to go to a gym, they can, but like they don't have to ever go to a gym?
They don't have to ever go to a gym, but I look at it as, where are you comfortable that we can get work done now? So I have a client that I asked her, I'm like, do you want to go to a CrossFit gym? Do you want to do workouts at home? Do you want to do it at the park with your son? She has a little son. And she's like, I honestly just want to do it in the comfort of my home. So I'll give her home workouts,
That's awesome.
because that's
Yeah.
where she's comfortable and it's building her confidence. If I said, hey, you have to go to a gym, whether it's, this lady lives in Southern California, but not close enough to go to my gym, or wherever they live, I find out where can they feel confident and comfortable, right?
Yeah.
I have another client that wants to start salsa dancing.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. I don't really care. Like, as much as I believe barbell training is one of the best ways for personal development to learn about yourself, you might have to work up to that. I just want to get people moving more and starting to move their bodies so that they can feel more confident and own who they are, and give them some nutrition stuff, to help them release that weight. Because it's just,
yeah. And you're very good at what you do. I mean, you're excellent at what you do. We've had the opportunity to talk so much. And that's one of the reasons, I mean, I'll be honest with you, Crystal, if it wasn't you running this event, I would have said no to it.
Thank you.
I would have said no to it because when I see something like fit body boot camp, or like rock your bikini before summer challenge kind of stuff, I'm like, that's so not what I feel like.
Yeah.
It's just so not for the women that I speak to. You and I, we've known each other. We've gotten a chance, like I said, I've gotten a chance to like geek out with your husband on physiology. And it's like, you guys are the real deal. And I'm so glad that you're stepping more fully into really helping women, like just claiming like, I'm going to help you release weight. Like, we don't have to sugarcoat it and pretend that that's not what you want. Like, I think, when people fill out the intake forms in the gym, and it's like, so what do you want to get out of this? Strength, more flexibility.
Yeah, no.
Health. Sometimes people are embarrassed to actually say, no, I just want to lose weight. Like, sometimes people don't even really want their health. It's like, they've already got it. They're not unhealthy. So they're like, no, like, health is not my goal. Like, I got that. Or I know that health comes with losing weight. So it's like, we don't have to hide and pretend we don't. Yeah, no, I'm totally fine with this. I just want to be healthy.
I'm just gonna, if only it was on your butt right now, that'd be even better. Just wearing it right there. No one really wants that. Let's just be real. No one really does.
Yeah. That's one of the reasons I took up running, actually, was because I could go run trails. And I knew that, like, at least if my butt was shaking and jiggling, it was out on a trail and there was nobody watching me.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding. That was part of the reason I took up running.
Yeah. I've had huge success with people leaning down, and myself included, just by doing 2-mile runs. Like,
short.
Sure. It's not the long extended training, but it's just, I did it. I've done it multiple times in my life where, I'm like, oh, okay, the best way for me to lean down my legs, just go on a couple 2-mile runs. Not a couple. Let me rephrase that. Over 10, consistency.
Yeah.
Right? And same with my clients. Like, I've seen huge results with that. But it doesn't mean you have to kill yourself. You don't have to go on an hour to 2-hour long run or workout, to be honest.
Right. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, because remember we were talking earlier about how we become more efficient. So, I just got done training and doing a full marathon. It was a really hard marathon. It took me 8 hours to do this. It was full trail marathon. When you're training for that long, think about what makes a woman's body efficient. Storing fat. So if you're training your body for efficiency, because you want, okay. So if you start training your body to have to work out for a long period of time, you're telling your body to become efficient at this thing that I'm doing. And storing fat is one of the aspects of being efficient. In addition to a lot of other things, but it's the one thing we don't want. So like, if you want to release body fat, do not go start training for marathon.
No, don't do that. I do have another question about keto and ketosis. Is now you have these companies, It, and I don't know the other one. And I have a really good friend who's like the third man, who there's like the owner, the best friend, and him.
Okay.
I think we actually know the same. I think we know him. But that's okay. It doesn't matter who he is.
Are we talking about exogenous ketones?
Yes, exactly. But what I'm saying is, how has that played a part, and is that truly beneficial because what I see is people taking these ketones, but it's like all day, every day. And I feel like their body's not getting a break.
So, okay. Well, I'll just share with you my point of view and my perspective.
Yeah.
I have never had a client take exogenous ketones. I have had clients put themselves on exogenous ketones because they didn't feel like they could get into ketosis. And I actually have some of my clients use blood ketone meters. I will just say this. I have never seen any benefit to taking exogenous ketones.
Okay.
In the outcome measures, like, so whether that was in a person's daily readings for how far into ketosis they are, we never saw an actual increase in that. And I've never had a client say, I feel so much better taking these, or I'm sleeping better, or I'm not hungry, or any of that. And the thing is, your body produces ketones, different types of ketones. So if it's something that your body naturally produces, that's what we want. We want to get your body to produce the ketones, which are just a byproduct of fat metabolism. So, and I have not really investigated it enough to really, like, I would never say that they're not valuable at all. It's just, I've never had a need from my clients get amazing results, and I've never prescribed them.
Well, I think the most natural way you can do it, the better, right? I mean,
yeah,
the more we can use whole foods, the better, versus having to add in something else to make us, have the body that we really want.
Yeah, and it's a processed thing. So when my clients for those who are on a ketogenic plan, not all are, by the way. I mean, I have clients who have, I have a client who has cirrhosis of the liver right now.
Yeah.
And so she's on a low carb plan, but she still gets 100 grams of carb a day, and she's releasing weight. So she's not in ketosis, right? Where was I going with that? Oh, so however, when somebody is in ketosis on a ketogenic plan, you do have to supplement with electrolytes like magnesium, potassium, salt, water.
Yeah, but I still see those as natural things, right? Those are natural supplements. Like, I don't know exactly what's made up of the exogenous ketones,
Yeah.
There's some proprietary like blends that you just don't know exactly what that means.
Yeah, it's kind of along those lines. I think I love your point of view on that, because they were just doing some testing on a very popular protein shake that I love. I actually used to drink it myself, and it's got lead and arsenic in it.
What?
I was like, oh my God. I'm like, and it's expensive.
Yeah.
You can get it at Sprouts or Whole Foods. It's very popular, but it's got lead and arsenic in it, higher levels. And it's like,
yeah,
got to do your due diligence. The problem is that a lot of, supplements are not regulated, right? So in some ways that's good, but then in other ways it's like you really are taking your chances unless you're going with a super reputable company. So I just don't recommend supplements, or, I'm not supplements, but I just don't use a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, we used to be protein shake junkies. Even my son, my like 6.5-year-old son, I have so many pictures of him like protein shake all over his face and down his shirt.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you're getting gas and bloating from it, that's like a huge sign of like, the risk reward is just not there. Let's just get some more protein and add in some veggies and a little bit of fruit, and you're good,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're lucky because your husband goes out and hunts like,
yes, he does,
wild game. So you guys have that in your freezer, right?
Our meat freezer, yeah. And that's a huge part of our family. It's like it's a family thing. My husband will go hunting. He brings home the deer, and we process it together as a family. We honor and respect respect the animal. And every time, no matter when we eat the meat, I mean, we still have meat in our meat freezer now. We're running low, which he does not like that.
Send Curtis back out.
Yeah, he's almost there to hunting season. He's so excited. About another month. But we always say thank you to the animal, which I think is teaching, for me, at least really important for me and Curtis, to teach our sons to be really respectful to the food that we're eating. And now we're putting positive energy into our food. Talk about energy, right?
Yeah.
It's all the same. You know, if we're putting those thoughts of our legs are fat, we're actually feeding negative energy to our legs being fat. Or another one I like to think of is on Sundays, we eat ice cream as a family. Like that's kind of just our thing. It's fun. I have zero guilt around it. My old self would have been sitting there obsessing, oh my God, I'm going to get fat. Oh my God, I can't eat this. Okay, I'm just going to have the tiniest scoop ever. And it's just this crazy internal dialogue that I believe we end up holding on to that because it's a negative association of food that we're putting in our.
Yeah. It's good food, bad ice cream, good lettuce, you know. I mean, the whole food thing is a crazy train.
It is
for
crazy.
women,
it totally
you know, and we don't have to, we get to undo, dismantle, and replace all of that, those old ways of being and thinking and doing, you know, because we all, you know, we're coming out of a pretty treacherous era around dieting and exercise and food. So it's like for women, especially, I mean, it's like, give yourself a break. You just survived like the Holocaust of food and dieting, right? With like the low fat, low calorie, work yourself to death. I mean, it's like for women to really like mentally and emotionally and spiritually, God, like kind of chokes me up when I think about it. It's like we're recovering from that.
Yeah.
So now we do know how to feed ourselves and fuel ourselves, but we do need to take care of that part of us that was like really traumatized by all that.
When we learned from our parents, right? So we're breaking generational patterns that, you know, your daughter, my children, they're starting to see like a healthier way of eating. But I mean, it's like generations being passed down to us that we have to be like, no, I'm stopping at this time. And I always empower my women that way. I'm like, this is your journey for you, but it also, you're setting up your kids and your family for success later. Like, like it's not just about you. It is, but you have to think of what is it doing for your legacy.
Yeah. And we still have to, you know, as moms, counter what's going on out there in social media, because, you know, there's still the crazy out there, you know, it's still nutty. So, you know, we get to do that too.
Yeah.
Now we know better. We get to do better.
Yeah. Praise to you. You have a daughter, a 17-year-old daughter right now. That is a hard time. And fun time, of course, but still, like, that is a challenging high school girl going into her senior year, which is so amazing. Holy cow.
I know, I can't believe it. This is her artwork on the wall. That's like 4th grade.
I love it. That's so rough.
Yeah.
Well, Kellee, thank you for everything today. I just adore you. And I want to make sure, can you just do a recap of the challenge? Because I know we talked about it, but we didn't really say that was the challenge of the day.
Yeah.
So share with us the challenge.
Sure. So the challenge is to using an app like MyFitnessPal or a piece of paper and pencil, write down everything, create a food mood log for 24 hours. So you get to do it tomorrow too. 24 hours, write down everything you eat, everything you drink, everything you consume. And while you do it, or right before you consume something, just log your mood. Super simple, like 1 or 2 words. I'm not asking you to do a diary or a food journal. It's a few words, that's it. And then look back on it, and it will create awareness for you, because you got to start with awareness. You got to know whether you're in Spain or California to get to Whitefish, Montana.
And you guys make sure you post in the Facebook group. Like, let Kellee see this. She can give you guys feedback.
I will be happy to do that.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for you to get feedback from a coach, you know, and each other as peers of like, hey, this is what I did today, you know, take the blinders off. Let's see what's really happening. And I'm going to do it with you guys as well. And then Kellee, I just have one last question. I want to know, you know, life question here. What have been like the 3 big pillars of your life that has just been with you, that's created the most success in your life? Like, what are the 3 things that you can stand by no matter what?
The 3 things that I can stand by no matter what in my life, the 3 big pillars of my life.
I stump everybody with this one. It's a good one.
Yeah, because I'm like, wow, I could go in a lot of different directions with this. Okay, I'll give you the first one. The first pillar is relationships above all else. Because when you lose those, you've lost everything. Even if you've got all the money in the bank and you've got the fit body you want, if you lose your relationships, you've lost it all. So that's the number one pillar is relationships. I would say number two is vulnerability. You got to be able to show your underbelly. I call it the frog belly moment. It's like, have you seen the belly of a frog? It's like white and scaly because it never sees the sun. Your frog belly moments are like those moments where, you know, your voice is shaking and you're scared to say what you know you need to say, but you just do it anyway. And then that's the release, Crystal. That's like the letting go. And it's like, so letting yourself be vulnerable. And I mean, there's levels of vulnerability or an authenticity. And when you get down into the deeper ones, and that's when, you know, when your voice is shaking and you're really scared and it's keeping you up at night, say what you need to say, open your mouth and let it out. And then number three is definitely going to be like your health and your fitness. And by fitness, I mean your ability to move. You know, I've got aging. My parents have both passed away, cigarette smokers. My in-laws are aging at this point, and it's like, we're not all going to be here forever.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like, if you don't move it, you're going to lose it. You know, don't use it, you will lose it. So have urgency around releasing the weight, getting your health back, getting your movement consistent so you feel good in your body, because the clock is ticking.
Yeah.
We're all checking out at some point, and you get to choose. Like, the thing is, we're living longer, but we're not living healthier. So I'm sure, Crystal, you agree, you're probably on the same page with me. I don't want to be 60, 65, 70 and be like incapacitated. Mm-mm. You know, my goal in life isn't to live as long as possible, but live sick. It's like, I hope that when it's my moment to pass, I'll be out there on a trail with somebody like you, and it'll just be like, oh, shoot, it's happening. Mm-hmm. I'm out.
And that you lived your life to the fullest, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I love it. Relationships, vulnerability, and your health.
Yeah.
Love it. So Kellee, I know you have a 6-month program. I would love for you to share with the group a little bit about that, and then where they can find out more information about you.
Sure. Okay. So yeah, I have a really great 6-month program. It's awesome. I'm so excited for these ladies. It's called Breakthrough to Freedom. And the cool thing about Breakthrough to Freedom is you can come in anytime. And so when you join Breakthrough to Freedom, you're joining a group of women who have been doing this for a while, and they're already releasing. Like, a lot of my gals have released 30 pounds or more. And then, you know, you come in and you get to be like the newbie, but you learn from everybody. And then when new women come in, you get to be the mentor. So there's a lot of actual, you know, women really like own this. Like, I think almost every woman in my Breakthrough to Freedom program could now turn around and work with me and be a coach.
That's awesome.
Because they own it and they've got it, you know? So, yeah, the best way to find out about that would be to go to my website, www.drkelleerutley.com, and book a time to talk to me about it. Because it's by invitation only. I definitely have a conversation with every woman before she joins, make sure it's right for her. You can't like click and buy it on my website, because, you know, that would be unethical for me to do that.
It's actually doing them a disservice by just a click and buy. You guys got to both. Yeah. I always say it's got to be a win-win for everybody, you know, for you and the client.
Yeah, because they get a lot of private coaching in this group. It's a group program with a lot of private time with me and with my other coaches. And the level of accountability, and people kind of get freaked out by that word, even though they know they need it. The level of accountability is really high. And that's why the success rate is really high. And that's why women are in there rocking it and having a good time, because they're actually getting the results. The only time weight loss is frustrating and not fun is when it's not working. Mm-hmm. And you're doing all the work, but you're not getting any payoff.
Yeah.
Right?
And then you have a free gift for everybody too.
I do. So it's the Feminine Fat Loss 3-part video series. And in that video series, I cover a lot of different areas around weight release, and I teach some of the tools and techniques that I use to help women in my program. So you actually get some like real tools that you can use.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Kellee.
Crystal, it's always good to see you.
Well, I just want to take a minute and say thank you for the work that you're doing in the world, because you're taking a stand for a woman to have everything she truly wants to have in her life, even if it takes her a little time to get there to realize that she can have it. So thank you for the work that you're doing. And thank you so much for being here today. Just a joy to have you.
It's an honor to be here with you, Crystal. And I would just say right back at you, girl. I totally support everything that you're doing. I think, like I said, you are like one of the shining stars, golden lights in this whole process for women. So thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Fit Body Challenge. Make sure to come back tomorrow for our next expert, and post in the Facebook group where you can connect with other people who are on this journey together with you and challenging themselves each day to have the most confident, fit body.